Hello everyone, welcome to session 3 where we're going to teach you today how to pinpoint your marketing message to really create a powerful mastermind offer to your people. Yesterday we dove into how to basically get more mileage out of your online course, or think a little bit differently about how to get your online course out there. So hopefully you got some great tips there, and an opportunity to rethink what you could be doing. I know I heard a lot of different, brainstorming or questions that came up, thinking about pricing, thinking about how to package that. And we were also able to cover that in the homework thread. If you haven't posted yours there, please do. I've decided to be super croaky. It might be because I just jumped outside to get a package delivered. Hence why I'm late for you today. It's really smoky here in Melbourne, Australia. All those horrible bushfires, smoke has come over and it's really thick outside. So I think that is why I am so husky. So my apologies. I can see people filing on. I am just going to send out another broadcast. I forgot to do that yesterday to my lovely Messenger subscribers. So I am just saying this. Okay, there we go. We're going to tell Facebook that's all okay. Start sending now. Yes, please, right? So not allowed in the first. Okay, rightio. Hang on, I've got to take one thing off. So rude. Hang on, I added a different part to my message. And I am not allowed to put that in according to Facebook. So anyway, hopefully that will go out through there. Forgot to do it yesterday. So I'm back. Welcome. This is really where we're getting into the guts of how to make your mastermind really convert and to be successful, and for something to be that you can be really aligned to as well. Can I just check first of all that you can hear and see me? Just tap the like emoji for me, that you can hear and you can see me. I've popped it on the side. I want to make sure that it's all as it should be, because it's pretty easy to mess up the text sometimes, as I'm sure you're probably aware. I haven't seen any. Yes, I have seen one now. Thank you. I love that. Say hi, so I know who's on as well. I know there'll probably be some familiar names and faces on here. It always helps me just kind of move through today. Oh, Gina or Jenna, I'm not sure, one or the other. I'd normally say Gina, but I know it can be Jenna in the States, but I think you're from Perth. Jeffrey, hey, how you doing? Welcome. You're obviously Aussie with that statement, that welcome, that welcome there. Hi, Nancy, nice to see you. Thanks for saying hi. It's good to just see that there are actually people on here. Kathy, maybe I missed your ad post yesterday. I know you just posted the other one in the homework thread, so I apologize. I've been a bit non-stop. I did have a look at your landing page though. I've got some advice for you. So, excuse me, I'll come back. Sally, I was wondering where you were yesterday. So glad you're on track for today. Jenna, good. All right. I know it's either Gina or sometimes I would say Gina, but thought it might be Jenna. So good to know. Thank you for clarifying that with me. We don't have that name as much down here in Australia. I think that's why we mess it up. So, oh gosh, I really did just go out to get a delivery, and now the smoke has made my voice super, super croaky. Yeah, there's a big shroud of it all over the city, unfortunately, and it was there yesterday too, so it's obviously got worse. For those of you who don't know me, if this is your first session jumping on and you haven't caught the replay, and maybe you opted in for this Mastermind Method workshop and you're like, who is this chick? What is she all about? Well, I became an online success mentor to women way back in 2011, and I started my own mastermind back in 2013. So I've been doing this for some time, and sometimes the things to share are the things you easily ignore, right? Like I'd always be talking about things like Facebook ads or how to, traffic conversion. What other things have I talked about? Marketing message, which we're talking about today. That's one of my favorite topics. But basically how to get more traffic, how to get more leads, how to get more sales, how to get things converting online. But one of the things that I probably ignored was the most powerful element of my business, and that was how to create a mastermind, right? And how to pull that into your business and bring in more ease and flow, better results for your clients, and more happiness for you. So this is really my mission this week, to share that with you. How could you create that on your own terms? Let me just get my dress and everything organized. I'm just looking at myself here going, gosh, everything's all around the twist. As my mum used to say, if things were, or my grandma used to say that, you're wearing that and it's all around the twist. There we go. Okay, this dress is definitely all around the twist. And hopefully it is not strobing for you or anything. I was a bit worried about my daughter actually called this a picnic blanket dress. So that was nice of her. But anyway, it's really warm here today, so I wanted to wear a nice light silk dress so I can just show up and jump into teaching you rather than worry about what I'm wearing. But I just realized it was all messed about. Anyway, today though, I'm going to help you do 3 things. I'm going to help you attract a steady stream of the perfect clients in every day, so you can let go of the launching, like the push and pull of all the launching, or the thinking too hard about all the tech, the systems, all of that stuff we can let go of when we have this mastermind model, but also when we have a powerful message that people can find us and come to us with, okay? So, yes, Sally, you know all about it, right? It's funny though, some of the things they say just make me laugh. The other thing I want to talk about is really conversion too. Now, we're not going to go into the nitty gritty of, okay, do this and then you convert. But if we get these foundational elements, right, that we're talking about over all 4 live sessions of the Mastermind Method Workshop, then you will find that the conversions are so much easier. Even in yesterday's homework, I was just taking a look at some people's niches, or niches, as you'd like to say in the States, and going, oh my God, I love that. And obviously people who are here are wanting more clients. And I'm thinking, that's such a great message. Let's get it out there. So how can we do it in a way that you get organic momentum and that it just rolls and it fits, but also that we can repurpose it in a way that cuts through a lot better, cuts to the chase. Sometimes it might just be that you're a bit too general or you're not specific enough. So we want to kind of dive into that as well. And also it really relates and is very clear to the results that you're creating for your client, okay? Sounds like a big call, but really this is what I have been working with my clients with over the last nearly 10 years since I jumped out of corporate. And I want to be able to share that goodness with you too. At any time you can ask questions. If I'm off on a tangent, I'll come back to you. Just old items. How rude, Paula. I think that is actually because I can't give this link to the email until it's live, and it wasn't live. So yeah, it just goes to the group. In order to sort of get to the most recent post, sometimes you have to click posts on the left-hand side or discussion, just to let you know, Paula. It's a bit of an imperfect system, but I kind of don't want to wait to email out when I am live, and hopefully Facebook will notify you when I am. That's the beauty of groups as well. So when I was talking about having a free group, generally, well, hopefully Paula, you got a ping, or maybe you got a messenger ping, I'm not sure, either or, that I'm then not having to rely on emails either, because as you know, most of the time emails only get opened by 20%. Excuse me, this smoke. Oh gosh, hang on. Maybe I need a lozenge. Just wait one moment, sorry. I don't want to be croaking all the way through. Let me grab one. People have been asking me about this bushfire smoke and saying, is it going to be bad? But I'm like, well, it's not too bad. But today, obviously is. So excuse me while I have a strepsil just to make sure that my voice is going to last. Oh, you didn't get a ping? Well, lucky you found it. Anyway, I'm not sure how to get around that for you, but the good news is you're here, so that's all that matters. So in short, this is, honing into your message is for you if you want to create regular sales from helping people with your expertise, your magic, your talents, okay? We want to be able to package that up so people can easily understand what you do, because Oh, good, Glenda, great to have you here. Because it's so easy for us to get mired in what we do, right? We understand it so innately. And then sometimes that biases how we share it. Or we go into expert mode and we're like too many steps ahead of where our people are. Because we're so excited about the results that we can create. Sometimes we just stay in that result space. But really we need to get where we can connect with the people that we can help most. So, oh gosh, Christine. Yeah, it would have been a bit scary for you in the Barossa, especially, I think you had the fires last year near you. So, yeah, you can totally understand. But yeah, the smoke's really bad out there today. So, excuse me with my voice, it is not good. So yeah, you may be a consultant, you may be a healer, a therapist, a speaker, someone like Christine who helps you get your book published online or self-published. I loved that post, Christine, that you shared about how I helped you focus in on your message. Gosh, was that like 5 years ago or something, Christine? And now you've helped 560 people with publish their book. That's amazing. I love that. And I want you to share that link because I'm sure there's lots of people in here that could benefit from your beautiful talents and skills. But you see, even sometimes it is about having someone else look inside. It's really hard to see the label from inside the bottle. So it's hard for you to see how to message what you do, right? It's really difficult to do alone. I can't do it alone. I need mentorship and help and feedback and advice to do it. And I'm sure you do too. And Christine, I'm sure you found that process helpful when we worked together such a long time ago. Yeah, so I want to make sure that we've got that opportunity to do. So yeah, Lynn, I'm glad you you found the same thing. Oh, it's horrible. Yes, swap from magazines to book, Christine. Absolute genius, because everyone pretty much wants to write a book. There was actually a woman that I was in a mastermind with maybe about 4 years ago then, Christine. She helps people get their books written and then published. She makes like $500,000 a month now in her business. And when I met her in that mastermind, she was making about $5,000 to $10,000 a month. I can't remember, not much. So it's amazing when you fine tune a message, you create results, the impression of results in advance. You can show that you have a specific framework and you can get people to an outcome. It's super important. Someone wrote, can't remember your name, you beautiful person interacting with me on the Facebook group, but they asked me, well, how can you really, what kind of result could you get people and charge $9,000? Well, who would be thinking that you could charge, I think her book writing thing is $50,000 or something like that. Who would really think that you could charge that in a group program? Well, it's absolutely, it's absolutely possible. So you want to be focusing on the outcome. We're going to talk about a little bit more about that today as well, but it's quite funny when we can kind of let go of what we think. Okay, people only pay this for a process, they will. For a diet plan, they will. There is a set limit, right? So when your message is all about, hey, I've got this cool new, South Beach diet, although hang on, that's a multi-million-dollar book, but like a 7-week diet plan, right? And that's all you've got. Well, that's more a process rather than a promise of a quick outcome that gives them support and guidance and interaction to get there, right? So that's where we build in the value, and we talked a bit about that yesterday. I did want to also congratulate the winner of our homework assignment, and of course I didn't write it down because I had to do the random thing. Hang on one moment. I wrote down her name, I think, in my notes here. So there'll be a homework thread each and every day in here where you're going to be posting your homework from the beautiful workbook. If you do not have a copy of the workbook, go to victoriagibson.com/workbook. Yeah, just have it up on your screen and you can scroll your notes. You don't have to print it out. If you're a printed out kind of gal, then that's great too. Do that. But I'd like you to follow along with it. It sort of helps to bring everything together for you, you know, and makes a difference. So definitely Michelle Dowker, that's who is the winner of our $50 Sephora gift card. Can you message me via the group and give me your email address, and I'll get that over to you. I'll call it out in another post as well, in the homework post. So let's get back on track and make sure that we have that. And I could see, you know, a lot of minds ticking over about how they could bring a mastermind into their current offers and expertise, and how I wanted you to think about how it's actually not that much harder. It's just repackaging what you're doing, adding some more value in, and then we want to talk about, okay, well, now the hard bit happens where you land on your message, right? You already know that you create great results for people. So let's go deeper into your messaging. Click a like on the post if you are struggling with your message or you're not quite clear. If you want to pop it in any of the thread at this time, please do. I can come back at the end and maybe go through some, or maybe hold off actually, and I'll ask you to post it at the end, and I can give you some kind of brainstorm and advice on your message. It is my favorite thing to do, and hopefully you won't have me stumped too much. So look, you know what I want to really kind of dive into is that, or just at least share with you, is that I'm not here to say, oh good, yes, there's lots of the right people here. What I want to let you know is that I'm not just about, okay, you've got to charge high prices and that's the answer to all your problems. It's not. Because you can't charge high prices. You will not convert if you do not get your marketing message right, okay? And sometimes a bit of what I alluded to yesterday was that when your marketing message is off, it's a little like the radio frequency I was talking about yesterday, where, you know, I'm very analog here, talking about dialing into a radio station. Like, hello, my kids would just roll their eyes at me. But, you know, when you just like, you're searching for a radio station, you're just nearly there and it's a bit until you just land on it. It's like, I can hear the music, right? That's what happens when your marketing message is on point. You're dialed in. People can hear you. People enjoy it. People are just drawn to it and want to stay and listen more because it just makes sense, right? How many people have you gone to their Facebook page or profile or seen them in other groups and you think, oh, that looks interesting, and then you go to their page and you're like, what the hell are they selling? I don't get it, right? Or I'm not sure, or oh, so they do 6 things? Great. Well, I don't know which ones are. Now, are they for me? You know, it's so easy. Oh, good, Michelle. Just send me a DM and let me know. Yeah, you know, and you just think, what is it that you do, or how does it work? And like I said, it's really hard to do yourself. So if you haven't got it sorted, it's normal. So don't fear about that. And sometimes it is a matter of playing with things, and we can do that in this group. We can pop it on. We'll pop it on session 2 homework thread if you want to brainstorm some of those ideas. I'm happy to give you my advice or my thoughts on where your message is and where it's to go, and we can talk about it at the end of this as well. But the good thing is when you do get it dialed in, you know, even with just a simple mastermind offer, not a big list. I said to you, I have a list. My list is like under 5,000 people, right? I don't have a big list, but I've consistently been able to make $1,000 every day using a mastermind model. And to be honest, my message is still, I don't think my message is that great. I'm really great at helping other people. Mine still sometimes needs work. Sometimes it's also about consistency too. But what I do know for sure is that when you get that dialed in, you can be getting consistent sales every day. You can let go of all the launch headaches and stress. Keep it easy. Like, this is a really kind of unpacked launch. I've done the Jeff Walker videos where we, you know, are pumping them out and emailing it out and no one watches them, and you spend all this money, you stress out. There's like a disconnect, right? But there's part of having the right message and then getting it out there with the right connection, okay? So, oh yeah, I know, Christine, I hear you on the list building. I had to like change your mind from round, and I lost, you know, like I said yesterday, in maybe it was 2012, I must have had over 10,000 people but I pivoted to change things, and consistency is key. Once you land on a great message, you won't have to keep pivoting, which is so perfect, right? And Lynn, yes, glad you can remember the old pop it on the knobs on the radio. I know it's bad, isn't it? I feel old. I like dating myself frequently. But really, even the average of $1,000 a day, I have about 2 hours of live coaching a week, right? I do some marketing, obviously. I write emails, I create content. I still want to create value for everyone. It's not like, hey, I only work 2 hours a week. I'm definitely not here to tell you that. But it's pretty cool. I'm not doing, a ton of one-on-one. I offer a one-on-one session when people join my program, just so we can dive in and get clear. I do some calls as well, if that's something you want to jump in and do a kind of offer planning call with me. They're complimentary. I do those one-on-one. So it's not like I'm not showing up one-on-one at all, but I'm not having to one-on-one coach people through. I've got leverage, but the people that I work with are getting amazing access to me with custom tailored advice, and I'm still pulling in great revenue with the freedom and flexibility to be a mum and do the other stuff that I want to do, right? So that's what I want for you too. I don't want you in the background anymore, beavering away, creating all this like infrastructure. Like, oh, I've got to tinker around with my website masthead. I've got to suck on this lozenge because my throat's about to go again. I've got to tinker around with that, or I've got to create my membership site. Oh, I can't put any marketing out there because I've got to do my videos, or oh, my logo's not ready, or I cannot tell you the amount of people that send me I always ask, what's your website? Even as an entry question for this group, right? I just want to get an idea of who you are and what's going on for you, right? I like to actually know people in my community. So it's really just a question. I'm not here to judge. I just want to see your website. The amount of people who write, it's not ready yet. I'm still working on it. And that is what, there's this energy of when I do go to their website. Yesterday, for example, I saw someone's website and it had launching soon or coming soon or not quite ready yet or something like that. It's like, be really careful about those messages and putting that out, even having it there and saying, often people will still be directing people to their website and it's not ready yet. And I'm not saying that's the bad bit. What's the bad part is it's like coming soon, still working on it, whatever. If you've got the wherewithal to get a page live, you've got the wherewithal to just pop some text on there or get your web person to pop text that says, hey, are you ready for this, this, and this? Or are you struggling with this, and this? Click here and book in a free time with me. So what I'm saying is don't close off things because you think things aren't perfect. Sometimes you do need to fail your way to success, and you'll only be able to test the strength of a message by putting it out there, okay? So I want you to let go of some of that perfection paralysis that keeps us stuck in the creation rather than the connection, okay? Hopefully that lands with you. I typically don't work with more than 15 people a month as well, so it's not like I've got tons and tons of clients that I have to worry about. Oh my gosh, this voice today. I earn back about $50 out of from every dollar I spend on Facebook ads as well. So if you haven't been investing in paid traffic, that's something we definitely want to get you more confident with. We have got a session tomorrow that is on Facebook ads, so you're not going to want to miss that. So I'm not, I haven't got big affiliate networks or joint ventures or anything like that. This is just utilizing pretty much the power of Facebook and my own messaging. Now at the moment, my message is all about using the Mastermind method to create more income, revenue, and ease and flow in your business, okay? But for yours, it might be different, right? So we want to be thinking for that, well, how can we get very specific for you? And if we go to the workshop and we go to the workbook and go to session 2, okay? So, and a link to your sales page. Christine, have you not got one? Hang on, let me look at your comment. I'll go and put it in the post. Yes, I want to see your sales page, or just an opt-in offer, or whatever kind of tells us what you do, or you can just put it in the post, that's fine. when we're talking here, you can transform your expertise into a high value offer that creates more income with fewer clients and ease, right? So they're the blanks. I know some people really like to follow on and I love glossing over them. But what we want to do is we want to really zero in and get quite specific here, okay? So we want to talk about your niche if you're in Australia or your niche if you're in America, okay? So really what that's all about is just getting laser focused on who it is that you serve, what specific problem you help them overcome, and what the overall outcome that you provide is, right? So when you have those elements in place and when it is specific and it's not general, you get a lot less static on your messaging, okay? So to use that radio analogy, lot less static. And you'll just get right in there, okay? So we want to think about the highest potential category of people to work with. So if you have been out there in generality land, right? You've been helping a lot of people, different people with different things, because you've been relying on referrals or hustle, or you've been getting things moving, and that's totally fine. I don't have a problem with that in the beginning, but now may be the time that we need to dial it in. Now, this is the thing that everybody resists. You've probably heard it before. This is nothing revolutionary at all, but everybody resists going narrow. And the thing is, the power is in the narrow, right? Even Michelle, who won the Session 1 homework thread, was talking about helping people with endometriosis and autoimmune. Well, I mean to tell you that, like, look, you may, I don't know all the details of what you do, Michelle, so I'm just looking surface here. But there's more than enough women struggling with endometriosis to help to actually just narrow and stay there. In autoimmune, you've got, you've got your RA, you've got your Lyme disease, you've got thyroid, Hashimoto's, or, there's a lot of different things. And within each of those, there's different struggles, there's different mindsets, there's different things to overcome, right? So even though saying endometriosis and autoimmune seems quite specific, I would argue that you could probably drop one of those and go even more into just one of them. Because when we connect with the real heart and soul of our audience, that's when we get real momentum, because they feel understood. They cannot help but be compelled to move towards us because they're like, she gets me, or he gets me, she sees me. They feel understood. And that is such a powerful buying trigger for people, okay? So definitely do not shy away from going narrow. And that's really about the very specific high value target that you sell, so that you help. So when you think about that, like for me, for example, when I started, and I still have a wide range of experts that I work with, or coaches and consultants. And even back then, I didn't really know how to call it coaches and consultants, okay? I was like, maybe it's, I help people increase their online business, right? That's probably how general I was too, okay? But then now I go, actually, it's really coaches, okay? And then some people don't identify as coaches, but essentially, if you are an expert and you're helping others with a transformation, you're pretty much a coach, right? So now I can say, okay, it's coach. I've had corporate women in my groups, women who have jumped out of corporate, but they're still looking to be a coach, okay? So I could arguably say, well, look, I only want to serve people who've already got a website, already serving some clients either one-on-one or in a group or with an online course, and want to have the ease, flow, and leverage of a mastermind and create that income coming through. Why do they want that? Because they want the freedom and the flexibility that working online can provide. They have the passion to share their transformation because they want to be seen, they want to be recognized, they want to be loved. At the end of the day, that's where people want to go, right? It all boils down to that, and you can find connection with that, even though it sounds a bit kind of out there, but it's true. And yes, you want to make a living, right? You want to make great money, but most of the time, if you speak to, depending on your market, but I know my market, sure, you guys want to make money, I know that, but you're actually really passionate about what you're doing and you want to create money with the meaning, right? But the missing link there is your message. If you don't have the message, you can't get to the money and the meaning because you get lost in all the static, right? So And I don't care what tool, what method, go do an online course if you want to. You don't have this message stuff sorted, it won't work. It will die. Yes, once we've got the message, we need the traffic, then we need the conversion. So I know there's a lot of steps and it's frustrating. This one fast tracks you, right? So we get your message landed and you'll know, when your message feels right. It just I've had women cry often when we dial this in, when we get to that little bit, bing, lands on the station. It's like that there's an emotional response because it is what's inside you. And the other bit is the best one, the right one is often the one that you are stuffing down and you do not want to let out. For whatever reason, there's normally some deep-seated reason why you can't get this out, but that's the one we need to get out. Okay, so that's also why sometimes you need someone else to help you do it, right? And I make no mistake, tears flow from this process. Well, maybe not if we're doing it in a group right now. Well, when I'm doing it one-on-one in course planning calls, you can book one of those, by the way, victoriagibson.com/call, where we just sort of crack that out. Because this is what I find with a lot of online courses or people wanting to join online courses. If you're not getting custom advice, you might miss this step totally. So then you go to marketing plan, tool, tech, strategy, blah, 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 and you miss this bit and there's no coming back from this bit, right? Like you can't fix it. Even, I'm in mentoring programs. I still make sure that I'm investing in myself and getting coached and seeing what's out there. And one I'm in at the moment, I listen to the live calls and it takes all my restraint not to want to jump in and go, hey, do this, because I just can't help myself, right? But I'm not the coach, so I've got to sit back. I'm listening, but I'm thinking, you can't let this woman go ahead with that message. It's so bad. It's just the reason she's frustrated. The reason this is not working is because her message is just not going to work. It's so general. They were even talking about orgasmic energy today. And look, there's nothing wrong with orgasmic energy. I would like more of that, please. But it's kind of like, oh, she wanted a higher end audience, then she wanted to talk about orgasmic energy, and I'm just no, we've got to, and there's nothing, as I said, I'm all about pleasure, people. I'm happy with pleasure and orgasms, the likes, but we've got to get the messaging right. God, this is taking a turn for, possibly a turn for the worse or a turn for the better, I'm not sure. But as I said, I go off on a few tangents, so just play with me here, please. And then there's working away at a methodology to launch something, but the message is just all wrong, okay? So the first step to start with is the highest category of potential with your people. So let's start dissecting, right? Oh God, the emojis are just lighting up. I love that. I get a bit of a delay here, so bear with me. But obviously that one made you laugh. So with the highest category, highest potential category, or the highest category of people that give the most potential, I want you to dissect who you already serve and think about, there's bound to be one segment of those people that you really think, oh yeah, okay, I jive with those people so much more. They get faster results, they're better clients. Or you might be finding that the lowest potential, the people who get the worst results are the ones that come to you all the time, that you really don't love working with, but because they come all the time, you feel sort of stuck serving. I want you to actually just start with a clean slate and even just write a few of the categories that you might have. Maybe like me, I've got corporate women wanting to leave corporate and start an online business. Or I've got, coaches who are working one-on-one with clients. Or I've got perhaps women who have reached $5,000 a month in their business, but they want to, scale and grow, okay? And there's also maybe women who just want to understand how to get a higher converting funnel and things get an automated webinar, run Facebook ads. They want a little bit more of the marketing done, right? So they want to grow and scale with that. So I would dissect via all of those, even though you might think, okay, well, you serve all of those people, but there's going to be different categories within there. Say Michelle and she's got her endometriosis. So it's women who have been struggling with endometriosis for 10 plus years, tried all the treatments, had surgery, but are still suffering from the crippling pain and symptoms of endometriosis, which is stopping them from being, doing, whatever it might be. This is where we want to do the work. We want to go in. What's it really costing them to be struggling with this very specific problem? And when we know and understand that, rather than jumping straight to our solutions, we get to the heart of the connection with this market, okay? Because we get to see how they would be showing up now, not where we can take them. So we're not leading in our message with where we can take them. We're leading in our message with what's showing up for them now, what's it costing them, how is it hurting them, how does it feel, what isn't working. Let's get really clear on that before, I know you know how to get them there, although we want to kind of explain that in a more systematic framework, like more of a methodology or a blueprint. I'm not going to go into all of that today because that's a long process. But first and foremost, what is once you've got that highest category person, what's a specific problem that you want to help them overcome? Okay, how's that showing up for them? A lot of people can't even answer this. It's like, well, I help people lose weight. Well, okay, there's other nuances to losing weight. It might be that you want to get the last 10 kilos off after having a baby. It might be that you struggle with emotional eating and your weight yo-yos up and down. It might be that you cannot fit into your clothes. It might be a combination of all of those. But there's actually there's actually different nuances and categories of the problem. It might be that you're 100 pounds, 200 pounds overweight, or you're obese and you cannot even move around. It might be that it's causing debilitating illness in your life, right? You might also then go, if you're a weight loss coach, no, I don't want those people. So you can get very clear on who the people are that you want and that are in there and are not as part of your message, because it's your power to magnetize the right people. So if we see a lot of the kind of clients that you don't want coming to you a lot, generally because of your message. Even Kathy, your ad, I was going to give you some feedback on that too, that kind of even the word struggling, I know we want to connect to the problem, but it was like struggling to raise funds. I just sort of felt like you would probably want more of the non-profits looking for fundraising help, but they're not. I just feel like struggling denotes a more like a less valuable client. So we might look for a different word about that. Okay. Yeah. So you're saying they have money problems and maybe first talk about the board they forgot to train. Correct, Kathy. Like maybe you're going there already, like you're kind of going to attract the people that have got so many fundamentals broken that it's going to make applying your process difficult, if that makes sense. So maybe it's, training their board isn't going to be a sexy message. Yes, they want to raise more funds, but it could even be something about, the 5-step fast track system for non-profits to, get their fundraising, to increase their fundraising by 50%. Maybe it's about getting more specific and strategic there. And implying results in advance can be quite useful. So that might be about kind of picking through what you have done before for other clients and weaving that into your message and getting a lot clearer. There was definitely some vagueness in that page that I didn't like. I'm going to come back to you. No judgment, by the way, don't take that the wrong way. I just straight shooter, tell you straight up. Yeah, so Lynn, you want to help parents build a lifelong relationship and connection, which is beautiful, right? Like parents need that because they get mired in the kids. Hey, I'm divorced. I know after we had small kids, that was a kaboom. Even after, 2 years of therapy, we couldn't get our marriage back on track, right? It just, kids really, we couldn't navigate children after being together for such a long time beforehand. We couldn't navigate children. So that work is so valuable, but then it's a matter of, okay, well, rather than be focusing your message on the lifelong relationship, at the moment, they're in the trenches in arguments or in miscommunication or in resentment, right? Like, so another thing might be that's more powerful, how to help, I help women overcome resentment towards their husband so that they can get communication back on track, or so that we can make communication easy and stop the silence and the constant fights, silence and resentment, and become better parents and have a more solid marriage, or avoid the divorce courts even. I don't think you necessarily want to say that, but That's almost where we need to go. Like, too many people want to kind of pussyfoot around and stay in the, this is great land, right? This is brilliant. I can help you with all of this. But when people are stuck in the absolute shit of what's going on, that they're hearing a bit of static. They're not getting the clarity. Whereas if you can be brave enough to go to that shit part, and I'm not saying this is to manipulate anyone, it's just to dial your frequency in, okay? So yes, eventually we will talk about the beautiful place that you take them to, but first of all, we need to hit on and connect with what's going on now. Because if they do not realize the cost of continuing on that path, then they're not going to invest at a higher level, right? Maybe they might invest in a quick $97 course that they won't complete and won't change anything. But they're definitely not going to invest in a transformation if they don't realize that you get where they're at. And when you can connect with that, everything opens up, okay? So definitely I want you to think about that. And Nancy, you are talking about, yeah, Kathy, I'll talk to you about that in the post as well. I want to help people reconnect to their inner self for people feelings lost through anxiety, life changes, holding on to the past. That's still too general, Nancy. I love that. You know, and I love that you posted it there, so thank you. And thanks for being brave and sharing it. And don't worry, I'm not gonna like rip everything apart for everyone. But I've got to be clear for you guys too. I could say, oh yeah, Nancy, that looks great. Look, overall, it's great, but it's not going to cut through online. We've got seconds to grab people's attention for them to understand that you get them, right? So even if we just talk about those three areas in of themselves, anxiety, life changes, holding on to the past, it's really big, okay? Yes, I know they may be connected, but even if we can just get to anxiety or one area of anxiety, it might be about relationship anxiety, it might be about career anxiety, right? The life change, it's empty nesters, right? You can just go there and have one message about that to start. I always say to people, you don't have to let go of everything, right? You absolutely do not have to let go of all those other ideas, all the things you help. And in fact, you could still if clients came to you organically around those issues, you could still help them and that's okay, right? But what I'm saying is, what do you lead with? How do you magnetize people to you? That's what we've got to get very clear and specific on, okay? Sorry, see Lynn, I didn't hear your message right, even from what you'd written, because I think I was in relationship with their children, right? So here I was in shitty relationship going off in, I see how I heard it a certain way based on my experience, right? But relationship with their children, I love that message, because how many of us are struggling with trying to reconnect to their children and have a great relationship that isn't tantrums, arguments, feeling guilty, giving in, bad behavior, and there's so many nuances to even that. I love that, Lynn, but your message didn't share that with me, so how can we refine that even better? And Victoria, starting your first program tonight, cool. What did you ask something else before that, or you were going to share? Good. Okay, no worries. I think you were saying you had to go. Excuse me. Abby, I want to help people launch their personal concierge business with confidence so they can create a business that works. Awesome. I love that. Get really specific. It might be even thinking about what are some of the results that you could create for them. So rather than launch, it could be launch and grow your personal concierge business to $10,000 a month. I'm just pulling a number out of the air. That might not be possible. I don't know why, but thinking about an amount that you could help them attain, or how to get it started in 7 days. So a promise of that, a quick start and a shortcut, right? So sometimes you might be like in the right direction, but how can we add some specificity or results in advance to get them there? Does that make sense? Hopefully. So the first step in your niche is to decide on your highest potential category to work with. You'll feel it in your bones, but what I want you to do is write down a few of the ones that you have worked with or that you potentially could work with. Say for you, Abby, that people who want to launch a personal concierge business, well, are the layers that they already know that this business exists, or they're already doing one element of it. Maybe they're cleaning people's houses. Maybe they're like a personal assistant, like one of those home-based ones on what I want to call it, Kickstarter. It's not Kickstarter. That website where everyone does task Task, whatever it is. Or it could be TaskRabbit in the States. We don't have that anymore, I don't think. But you know, the crowdsource help, right? So maybe that's where you go, okay, they're my people. For example, I had a client who teaches surface pattern design. Her people often are selling stuff on Etsy. They're not making any money, right? They're not going to be a big life-changing designer on Etsy. And I'm not poo-pooing Etsy. I buy a lot of stuff on Etsy all the time. I love it. But there's a lot of people on Etsy who are like not making a lot of money, pouring all their passion and creative genius there and not making the money. So for you, Abby, that might be the same for those people on TaskRabbit or those sites at Craigslist or whatever. If you're in America or Australia, I'm not sure where you're based. But you know, they're those, so it's like, is that your highest category potential of people to work with? People are already doing an element of what they need to do, but you could just show them how to do it so much better and get rewards. And you know, they're those people that you could start talking to them and give them an idea, and next week they're like already like blown away going, oh my God. Oh, Airtasker, that's it, Abby. I couldn't think of that site. I love that site. But yeah, so you're in Australia, great. So yeah, I imagine that those are your people. The people already on Airtasker are doing dribs and drab jobs, but you can show them how to actually package up a service, get paid monthly, and get like 10 monthly clients. So this is a perfect, like a mastermind model to even help them do that is perfect, because I can really see how that message could cut through. So definitely, yeah, that they're your better, the people who are already doing an element of it, rather than teaching people how to even get landed to do, excuse me, I might have to do another strepsil. This smoke. I'm not smoking, by the way, if you've just joined me. It's the bushfire smoke outside. Yes, so that would be absolutely your highest potential category, Abby. Julie, you're saying your niche is narrow but struggle defining it. Women empaths, starseeds, mystics, witchy creatives, and loners. Okay, and that's fine. They feel shut down. What do they want? They want to find the courage and confidence to be a turned on woman. I think your challenge there is, what is a turned on woman? Right, let's think about, so when if you know out of, or even actually before that, out of those three that you've listed, let's narrow that down to the one woman. Are they all, you know, a mystic? Are they all healers, for example? Are they working in that arena, or that's just a natural part of what they have? We've got to identify maybe what the specific problem is there. That feels like a more general problem, even though you're saying that it's niche. There's still so much generality within the niche. We know that niche is big, right? Even though it feels niched, it's not niched enough. So I would invite you to even think about one person you have worked with before, or she's you just a few years ago before you had your transformation. So if you haven't worked with people, it's probably going to be you that you're going to help, just a different version of you. And they only need to be a few steps behind you, okay? So I would invite you to get very clear on if that was you, Julie, or you have worked with someone that you would say to the universe, please bring me in, 10 of these people a month. Who was she, okay? And what was her specific problem? What did she want? What was her specific problem? How was it showing up? What was it costing her? What did she need to know to get over that problem? And then why does she want to get over? What will she get on the other side of that problem, right? So when she solves the problem, what will open up for her? Okay, so I'd start with, who's the potential client? Is it, a woman in the spiritual realm? Is it a healer? Is it, when we say empath, that's just a quality that they have, but it doesn't really define the specific market segment, okay? So just be careful about those kind of terms, even though it feels niche. That might be why you're struggling a little bit with it. So second step, you could identify specific communities within the category to get you there as well. Like you might even say, Julie, that maybe, I don't know, I'm just coming from the knowledge of what I know of that market a little bit, but you might say they're Wiccan women, right? Or they're pagan women, or they're whatever actual communities in there, you might be able to land the community first, rather than the specific individual. So hopefully that helps. Third step is to dive in and flesh those out to land on just one. So you want to land on the one specific target market. And then you can start connecting and seeing if there's demand or desire, okay? So what I want you to think about when you're pulling together the message as well, this is an important element here. I just want to go to my notes to make sure I give you the juice on this too. Because what I find is a lot of people want to stick to process and the steps of what they do, or the process or the elements, rather than the real outcome of what they deliver, okay? So, in thinking about even, parenting advice, what we were talking about before, or how to, reconnect to your kids, you're not selling, a step-by-step method to become a better parent. What you're selling is connection and love for your children, a quiet, argument-free home, the confidence to take your child out and not be humiliated and embarrassed by their behavior. You're selling freedom from all that anxiety, worry, stress, and sadness that is engulfing so many parents because they have not got a handle on how to connect with their child, how to lovingly control their child and set loving boundaries and engage with their child so that the child feels safe, so that the parent feels in control and confident, right? So that's what we're connecting with. We're not connecting with, and I know you weren't saying this before, but we're not connecting with, how to be a better parent, or my five-step checklist to be a better parent. It's actually how to free yourself from anxiety, worry, constant questioning that you're never going to be a good mother. Those kind of things. So it can be difficult to say in a few words. That's why what I like to do is break it up into those pieces. So we go specific set of problems. Say, I would like to say that it's mothers for you, Lynn, just to jump into that right now and go, mothers of what age children? Are they toddlers still, or are they adolescents? I would get clear on, I know you may say to me, oh, but my strategies apply for all parents. That's fine, but this is what I'm talking about. Find the highest potential category. Where is the real rub the worst? And arguably it's across any of those sectors. I mean, I remember my kids are 15 and 17 now, and I'm in adolescent hell. But I've been in toddler hell, right? I would say it's probably toddler or adolescent from my experience. The in between, that was cool. That was coasting, right? The biggest periods of stress and change and adaptation for me have definitely been toddlers and adolescents. Is adolescent a teen? I don't know. So yeah, preschool, great, Lynn. See, now you're already like, the struggle with preschool mums can be that they don't have a lot of time. A lot of mums don't have time, so don't get me wrong on that one, but be careful. It's like they're preschool mothers struggling with the connection or behavior of their children, but they're motivated to change. We need to make sure we add that on there, that we want those women. We're bringing those ones in, not the ones who are just like, I'm too busy, I've got no time, okay? So that's where you might say, okay, I've got the preschool, I've got the teenagers, or I've got the ones who are maybe they're out of, their kids have just started school, so maybe they've got a little bit more time, but the feeling of stress about their kids' behavior is maybe even coming to the forefront even more once they've started school, because they're acting out in class and they're getting pulled into the principal's office, whatever it might be. I don't know the specific work you do. Oh, good to know, Christine, I'm not alone. Yeah, my daughter's she was in year 11 this year, year 12 next year. My other one's in year 10 next year. So yeah, definitely I found the issues coming to the forefront again when I thought I kind of had them nailed, right? So it's a matter of calling in that specific client and going, okay, who's that specific client? Say, even just for this example, mothers of preschool children who want to change their child's behavior. Essentially, that's how they're showing up, right? And then what is their specific problem they're trying to overcome? Bad behavior, feelings of resentment to their child, feelings of helplessness and loneliness inside their relationship, trying to manage this, nowhere to turn to, a lot of judgment and fear, right? So this is when we get to the heart of how we can create a compelling message, because we're actually stepping inside the emotions of how that's showing up. Then it's a matter of what do they need to know instead. And this is where, this is where we're going to talk as I work with my clients, we actually start stepping out the repeatable steps of your framework. So I know I said don't talk process, but what we wanted, obviously there is a process to get people transformation. That is something you will still do. We just don't lead with that as a message, if that makes sense. Instead, we turn those in to outcome focused steps that we can share as part of the framework. And then once we know that they need to know that, and what are the key elements of that, then we go to the outcome. What do they want instead? Well, they want to have a loving, connected relationship with their child that's free of drama, stress, frustration, okay? Why? Because they wanted to experience a loving family and be seen as a good mother and feel confident in doing so, right? Yes, I know there's a lot of elements there, but once we've summarized each of those 5 steps, what you can do is then create a sentence of those steps, right? Still really long. Then we can pull out the pieces of each of those. It sounds a little bit, I didn't want to go into so much detail on this because it can overwhelm people, but that's essentially the steps that we will do to get you a solid marketing message that you can be like, you can stand in. So when you posted before, when I got it wrong, what your intention was, you would have absolutely no clarity or no confusion, and instead you'd have clarity, right? For the right kind of person, and even anyone else would understand exactly what it is you do, which then makes it easier to refer. I was thinking about this even today with this workshop, right? The last time I ran this a couple of months ago, it was called the online course reboot, like how to reboot your online course and turn it around. It was okay, but that was a bit of a dumb name, right? Whereas this time I'm like, no, here's the Mastermind method workshop. I'm going to show you how to use a mastermind in your business to double your coaching business over the next year, right? Very clear. And then I noticed that my friend Denise Duffield-Thomas, I know I was talking about her yesterday as well. I'm not trying to like, hey, Denise, but she's a good friend of mine. She shared it on her page. And I was like, she shared it because she understood exactly what I was doing, and she went, oh cool, I'll let everyone know. I always tell them to join a mastermind or create one. Here's Victoria's doing this, right? Because she could clearly see what I was talking about. Whereas I didn't have, I probably had it off on the static pit last time. It still worked, but it wasn't optimized, right? So you have to be prepared that some of the things are going to fail and sometimes they're not, okay? So, oh good, Lynn, I'm glad. So that's with your message. I really want you to be clear about that, like going into that intersection there of the people you serve, the situationally specific problem you help them solve, and your special branded signature system. So that was the signature system, was the part I talked about before, the repeatable steps in your process that get them your promise, okay? So when we have that, we become just like, oh, everything kind of makes sense. I know who I'm going after. I'm not trying to have this wide catch-all. I'm going very clearly into who that audience is. And then you might want to validate and test how many people are in there. You just have to, there have to be more than 500 people. That's all. Most niches, you're fine. Lynn, you're going to be more than fine, right? That's why you can have no hesitation in drilling down. Same with Michelle, where there's more than 500 people suffering from endometriosis. And if we go with this another layer, we want the people who can afford to invest, are motivated to invest, and will become great clients and great referrals and great testimonials for us. That's the other layers of the people that we need to bring in. So in order to do that, we've got to get crystal clear in our message. There's no room for static anymore, okay? So yeah, clever, Christine, I'm guilty of that time and time again. Even just making it really complicated for no good reason, because there's a fear that we're not good enough, or we're not going to stand out, or we want to kind of just shower everyone with our expertise. And for me, it used to be very much, I probably still do it now, but put big words in there, right? Oh, I'm very articulate. I can make this sound really snazzy and complicated. And then it's like, doesn't work. Especially in ads. Ads, it'll kill your ads. Honestly, people just want, online, people respond to things that sound just like a conversation, that sound casual, connected, but that you want to kind of hit them right between the eyes with the real struggle and the understanding of their struggle, right? And that's where many people want to skip over to the holy land of here's the results I get. And look, that's fine if you're showing testimonial after testimonial after testimonial. You can stay in result land with your marketing, right? But it's not going to be as effective as let's pull it back and connect with people right where they are, okay? And good, I covered the workbook because sometimes I just do not do that. But make sure for this, for today's homework, you could put 3 specific niches that are part of your current target market that you could test, or just 3 categories that you're considering. And I can even in the feed give you a better idea of which one you should go for. The biggest problems your audience is facing. So don't stay sterile and clinical here. Let's go hard, right? Like I talked about, that fear of even, being judged in your mother's group if you're parenting. It's like, oh my God, do I have to take my kids to mother's group and my kid's the worst behaved kid, or my kid, my kid bit little Joey and I'm demoralized. I'm the worst mother ever. It's like constantly question, am I ever going to be a good mother? Those are the things. And I tell you, if you can paint that into a story and put that into storytelling, marketing and ads, it works really well. Kathy, for you, I'm glad you just popped up a comment because I want to go back to you, because yours is a bit different. It's not as much an emotional problem when you're dealing with B2B, right? So when doing a mastermind, a handout's good to provide. And what about reruns? I'm not sure what you mean about reruns there, but I want to go back to just that point for messaging for you. You can actually be very clear on the fundraising element. That's a problem that they want to solve. They need to welcome in more funds to their business. You do need to get clear, I think, on your signature system and the promise of how you can help people get there. But one step back are these non-profits who are already, have a team of 20 people. So they can activate the advice that you give them and get quicker results. Or are they, just still, I know a lot of under pressure and under resourced, but you don't want the ones that are too far that way because they haven't got any time capacity to activate what you share with them, right? And they just need a done for you solution, and then they probably couldn't afford that anyway. So it's finding the gold in your niche and the highest potential category of non-profits to work for. So I would invite you to list a few of the, what are the different shades, if you like, of those non-profits. Let's get to the heart of that. And I think that will also then help you translate to your ads and your copy in calling those people out. Because non-profit, once again, is still really wide. Even though that feels really niche, it's not. So we need to get a few different layers. I'm not sure what you meant by reruns, so you can clarify. Handouts, people love workbooks and handouts. I'm not great at doing handouts within my mastermind because I just have the online curriculum that they can access. They can download their workbook. So you could probably call them handouts because they download them and then create the worksheets. And then they'll often, submit them to me to have a look at, and I'll edit and give critiques and feedback. So yeah, it is an essential part of getting great outcomes in the mastermind, right? Because once you've got that signature system stepped out, you'll have the kind of teaching points under each of those, right? And they're the repeatable parts of your process. So you have one layer, which is the repeatable part of your process that you help them through, that you help everyone through. But there's also, with a mastermind, there's that custom layer to account for people's differences and the different stage they may be at, or the different help they might need, or the specific advice they need to really move the needle. And that's the difference between a mastermind and an online course. A mastermind creates a bit more of that, okay? But what I like to say is that the curriculum, those repeatable parts, you do them once. So have them as handouts, have them as an online course ready for them to access, because you're not repeating yourself time and time again, right? You've got that framework there. There's going to be people who just want to jump in and dive in and go. There's going to be the people that resist every stage of the framework, and they're the rebellious ones, and they just want to kind of do their own thing, right? So then you've got to find a way to, the good thing about having a framework is when those rebels go off and do things a different way, you can say, hey, did you do module 3 of this? Have you done that yet? Can I see that? And then they're like, no, didn't do it. Okay, well, you better do that first, and then we'll come back to this, right? So hopefully that makes sense. I'm not sure what you meant about reruns, my love. And yes, people identifying with biters, which is good. For people who miss the video and have a place they can see it off Facebook. Yes, you would probably, Kathy, have if they're paid clients and they're in your program, then you have a place where you house all those videos. They can access them at any time is good. And directors of small and medium MPO. Okay, cool. Well, getting really clear on those small and medium, what that looks like, what their team size looks like, and being very clear on their specific pain points and challenges, which obviously you don't want the ones who are just started and they're just bootstrapping everything. I wouldn't have thought, because unless that is your specific sweet spot, I would think you want people with a bit of capacity to make change and get in there and get some results. Maybe not, but we can workshop that as well. So, Jenna, I've been playing around with my mission. I help women heal themselves and the mother line from emotional trauma, freeing from chronic discomfort so they can live in their power. Okay, so what I want to think about there is, once again, the mother line. Not a lot of people are going to know what that means and how that, what that means to them. So it might even be, you could even say, if you were going to be doing direct response, you'd say something from childhood wounds or something like that. I know then you can go deeper. I'm not saying take that out of the work that you do, just take that out of the initial frontline messaging, and you can take them on a journey to explain that and what that means. Chronic discomfort, what is it? If that feels still a little clinical, what does that mean, right? Like, bring that part to life. I'd invite you to go deep into chronic discomfort. How's that showing up for them, okay? And what you'll find is when you even just journal on some of that, how does chronic discomfort show up in my clients? And you just journal on that, you'll have some beautiful marketing copy that comes out of that then when we pop it into a messaging framework, it all kind of comes together and makes a whole lot of sense. So hopefully that helps you with that as well. So basically, I want to make sure that you've got that covered, that we want to go to the highest category potential client that we're going to work with first. Then we want to get really clear on that problem that they're facing. When we start doing that, it makes it very easy to start translating that into our marketing messaging. And the first point of that, often for many people, is going to be posting on social media or doing your Facebook ads. So when we have a very clear sense of that, we can weave that into meeting our clients where they are and then inviting them to come into our world, okay? Yes, there's steps that go after that, but it starts to make a really big difference at front end. Whereas if we don't have that in the beginning and people aren't getting dialed in, it's going to be a bit of a problem. So you want to be solving a specific problem. You want to be meeting the needs of a very specific audience. You want to be that high value solution. So in terms of thinking about process, think about outcomes. What's the overall outcome and what do they want instead of this problem really? Not surface, really, okay? We want to go there. We want to be the marketers that go there, because the marketers that go there win. People don't want disconnection and sterility anymore, okay? So yeah, just do those 5, add those elements in and you're going to see a massive difference in your message, but you need to map it out a little bit. And I'm here to help you do that in session 2 homework. I haven't put the thread up yet. I will. There's a chance again for another $50 Sephora gift card. So you want to get in there. And also I'm giving you advice, people. So go for it. Come in and brainstorm it with me because I love doing that anyway. So be patient. I'll come to you in the thread and come back and let you know. And yeah, because you have a choice. You can still keep going, okay, well, I want to have a catch-all for everyone and I want to be stuck in my results-focused language, or I want to peel it back, go get a little risky and go with the actual heart of the pain and the problem, rather than being stuck in, hey, everything's fine here, right? That's not going to move the needle for you, because you've got to meet people where they are rather than expect them to come to you. And once you get that dialed in, the flow is so much easier. Your ads are so much cheaper. You'll be having conversation after conversation. Then when you have a high value solution, it's very easy to clearly demonstrate the cost of where people are to welcome them into your program, okay? I'm glad, Michelle, thank you. So I better wrap up, otherwise I go on and on and on like a 2-bob watch. My voice seems to have finally come good. The straps will save me from the smoke haze. Thanks for bearing with me, as usual. Workbook, I want to see your homework, people. I'll pop the thread up now. And then let's talk in there. And if there's, as always, if there's any questions or anything you need, then please just let me know. I love getting you through this. I don't want to see people struggling anymore. There's no need. Yes, there are still things you may try and they may not be 100% perfect, but I want to really fast track a lot of that process for you, and make sure that you can start getting some wins this week, because there's things that you can just be posting on your Facebook. I will also this week give you a quick way to get consults, or like I've got a little worksheet that you can sort of use to start getting consults this week, and start your offer. Like it doesn't need to be any more than, okay, if you want to, we'll talk about how to structure your offer on day 4, but you'll have time within this 10-day launch period here, or it's not really a launch, but where I've got savings of my program, where you can book in for a call, where you can actually test this stuff out, come back to me and say this worked, this didn't. So we've got time after the 4 sessions for you to actually activate and bring this to life and get my feedback. Oh, good, Jeffrey, glad you liked it. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening or day, and I shall see you tomorrow. Okay, guys.